Hey, Xiomy here. So today I wanted to do my summer reads. Now instead of sitting down and do monthly TBRs, I just decided to do a summer reads and also update it as well. I do know that the books that I'm going to mention are the ones that I really want to get out of my TBRs. So without further ado, let's get into this summer read. Now the first book that I'm going to mention is one that I know is going to be the first book that I'm going to pick up in the month of June because it is a buddy read with one of my dear friends, and it's This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. The only thing I know about this book is that you have a monster and he's very powerful, or the most powerful out of all three monsters, and he can steal your soul with a song. Of course I'm gonna want to read that book. And also on the back you have this song. I can't wait. How does that like mesh into the story? So I cannot wait to read this story. It's one that I have been meaning to pick up for such a long time, but unfortunately our schedules didn't like click at the right moment or opportune time. But finally we're gonna get to pick this book up and I cannot wait. Basically what I just told you is all I know of the book, and that's really all I want to know about it. The next book that I want to mention is a part of a trilogy, and it's one that I really want to finish, and that is Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. I'm not going to mention anything because of spoilers, but if you have not read Mistborn, which is the first book, I highly suggest for you to read it because it's so intriguing and so amazing. The fact that you have all these allomantic powers and a person can ingest a given metal and they have different powers, or if you can be a Mistborn and all these misting attributes towards it. It's just something that's very, very intriguing. The characters are just so amazing and I love them. I fell in love with some more than others, but this is an amazing reading. If you want something different and unique, this is where you're gonna get it. But I cannot wait to finish this story and to see how everything wraps up. The next series that I'm going to mention is one that I'm going to pick up 3 books, and then the others I'm going to pick them up during the fall season. But the books that I'm talking about are Harry Potter. Yes, shocking. I have not read these books. This is the first time I'm reading them, and I've been putting them off for such a long time that I need to finish them like ASAP. I said I was going to do it last year. I failed at that, but I already said I'm going to do it this year. I am going to read the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th book during summertime. I'm not going to show you the rest just because I have to take out a lot of Funkos, and I don't want to create so much more mess that I already have created in my room. But the reason I did put this series behind a little bit, it's because the second book, I didn't feel the magic as I felt it in the first book, and also the second book really wasn't that thrilling to me, so that's why I kind of put it off for a bit. But I'm gonna continue the series because I already said it's a series that I'm going to finish. The next books that I'm gonna mention are a part of a series, and that is The Raven Boys or The Raven Cycle. These are 4 books. I have not read any of them. I read only the first book. I stopped at page 68. I think I'm gonna have to read everything again, but I do know that you have psychics, and so far the bits and details or events that are happening are somewhat of an intrigue for me. I can't say too much because in 68 pages I'm really not fully invested in the series yet, but I do want to sit down and just dedicate the time to it. This book that I want to mention is one that I know 2 things of. First is that it's raved on Bookstagram and I cannot wait to pick it up, and the second one is that it deals with pirates, so I'm very thrilled to read it. And the book that I'm talking about is Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller. Like I mentioned, those are the only 2 things I know about it, and that's all I want to know. Also, I really want to go blind into this book. I've heard lovely things about this book, so I cannot wait to like sit down and pick it up because I have not read pirate books. I mean, I have read books where they have subplots or sub-stories of pirates and they're in one way or another meshed into the story, but I haven't read about pirates per se. I have watched movies and I love movies about pirates, so I cannot wait to sit down and just devour this book. The next book that I'm going to mention is one that I have been putting off because I want the sequel in the book so I can binge read both of them. And the one that I'm talking about is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. I haven't read this one because first of all, I really didn't finish Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. I finished that book like a month and a half ago. But I've been meaning to wait for Lord of Shadows so I can just binge read both of them like I just said. And I cannot wait to get into this world because I really did love these characters in City of Heavenly Fire. I've heard that you kind of get a cliffhanger here, so it's really good to like wait until the second book comes out, and the second book is going to come out pretty soon. The next book that I want to mention is one that I recently just hauled, and that is The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. I've been meaning to read this for a while, so I cannot wait to sit down and devour it. But what I do know about it is that you have Nemesis and Sidonia, and they grew up together, but Nemesis' job or task is to protect Sidonia. One day this power-hungry emperor sends for Sidonia and she becomes roughly like a hostage, or she's going to become a hostage. So Nemesis has to infiltrate that and save the one person that she is deemed to save. And I do know that you have a lot of political intrigue, so I cannot wait to sit down and just enjoy this book because it does sound highly intriguing, and I hope that this one really does not disappoint. The next book that I'm going to mention is one that I really want to get my hands on, and that is Flame in the Mist by Renee Adhere. I do know that it is a Mulan retelling. I've never read that kind of book, so I really am intrigued by that one, so hopefully I'll pick it up and enjoy it. The next two books that I'm going to mention are a bit skeptical for me to actually like get into. I'm going to mention them because those are the two that I think I want to get into, but I might change them because I did like read one of them and I had to DNF it, but I'm going to give it a second chance, and that is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I was just, what can I say, baffled by all of the simile and metaphor that were completely over and over and over exaggerated, and I just couldn't continue reading something that like sentence after sentence was just a metaphor or a simile or a metaphor or a simile, and then you had these highly elaborate ways to mention I kicked them in the groins, and I'm like, can you just say I kicked them in the balls, you know, instead of saying it like such an elaborate way. I mean, I get it, but then I don't get it. I'm just nitpicking, but hopefully I'll get into the book again and maybe enjoy it the second time around. The next book that I'm gonna mention is one that I honestly don't know if I'm going to sit down or if I have the mindset to read it, but I'm going to mention it because I do want to get it over with, and that is Empire Storm by Sarah J Maas. I had issues with Air Fire. I had so many problems with Queen of Shadows, so I don't know if and when I'll get to this one, but I do know that I want to get it over with during the summertime. So if I want to bicker and complain, I'll just do it during the summertime. Well, that's it. Those are the books that I want to read during the summertime. If you want to tell me which are the books that you want to pick up, feel free. We'll chit chat down below. But I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Peace.